Welcome to Loyal Real News. Today is April 3rd, 2020, and I'm going to bring you the real news. My aims for this channel are as follows: to inform others of real news going on around them, share about different cultures and customs, laws, and governments, let viewers learn English, create an environment where others can share and learn. I research real news to share with you so you don't have to waste your time. Closed captions in English are available, and so is this video in a podcast form. Give me 22 minutes or less, and I will give you the real today. Now let's get on with the articles. Today's topics of the day. Vietnam may accept an aid package from the USA, $2.6 billion. Couple who stole 2 children goes to jail. Helping a neighbor in need. Sony aids its country in an aid package. A woman is arrested for calling the police foul names. Giving birth alone will become the new normal. And married to a stranger? Stay tuned and let's go over these and other articles. Okay, our first article for today. Vietnam government may receive $2.6 billion in the U.S. aid package to help fight the virus. The draft resolution on the government for the bug virus will actually take effect between April and June for this 90-day period. Now, how much are these people going to get? Many people will get about 500,000 dong, which is about $21. Others, and this will be $21 for 3 months. Others who were different types of workers will get about 1.2 million dong, so about $60 US. So now this actually came to my attention because, you know, when we grew up, America and Vietnam had their war and kind of had hard times, relations. But as somebody who's even walked in many of the Vietnam museums, I've seen them glorifying their nations, which is fine. It's a country. But I think it's awesome to see, you know what, in a lot of ways, countries can come together and help each other. And so that's my question. My question for you is, have you helped out somebody who you haven't talked to in a while, or somebody who maybe you didn't like in the past? Is it your chance to make amends, or try to make amends at least, and get along, versus holding a grudge? So leave your comments below, and we'll talk about more issues. Moving on, Vietnamese Facebookers fined for spreading fake bug news. Thanh Vinh, a Vietnamese user, has been fined 12.5 million or $530 US for spreading fake news incorrectly and claiming the bug patient died. Now, this was not true, and later he incorrectly claimed a person from Singapore had died. So he did this twice, and they fined him. He wanted attention. Personally, gossiping is not good. A second person did the same thing. Voodoo G, 36, from the northern Nha province, wrote that every family must give 500,000 dong to prevent the coronavirus to the city. And the city didn't ask for that, but that stirred uproar, so she was fined 12.5 million. My point is, don't go out spreading gossip. Don't try to be an Instagram star or crave attention. False news is no good news. Be active, be productive, and do good. Have you ever gotten in trouble over gossiping? If so, what happened? Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Before we move on to the next story, I do want to give a little update that in Vietnam, the 15-day lockdown has become a 30-day lockdown. It's been extended from April 1st to April 30th. So it's for a whole month long. Also, this doesn't just affect Vietnam, but many countries. Many countries have drawn a blind eye on overstayed visas and passports, particularly like in Korea that they want their illegal workers to go home, and so this is a chance for if you overstayed a visa, you're hiding so you don't get fined or in prison. Many countries are letting you slide out right now. Other times, if you are in the country legally but your passport is expiring within the time you're there, you should contact the embassies. Some countries are not putting any late fees. They understand the situation, but either way, it's your responsibility to know what's going on. So contact your embassy or the local embassy of the country you're in to figure that out. And stay safe. Now let's get on to the story. Hey, this is also in Vietnam. City hospitals send health staff to homes of seniors. In Ho Chi Minh City, people aged more than 60 who suffer from chronic and common diseases are eligible to use examination and treatment services provided by hospitals at home and be covered by health insurances, according to the city's Department of Health. Hospitals will send their doctors and nurses to homes and seniors needing treatment. For seniors who live too far from the hospitals and need periodic treatment, hospital doctors can examine and treat via telemedicine by using the telephone. Patients' health is stable. They should continue their prescribed medications for the next month. Health staff will also bring medications to patients' homes. Patients' relatives can also go to the hospital and pick up medicine. Now, I thought this was really awesome because, not even in my day, maybe my grandpa's day or before that, doctors did make house calls. I also read in Australia, many outback houses have airport landing or helicopter landings for doctors to do house calls. And even in America, we're hearing right now the hospitals are overloaded with the coronavirus or the bug. So they say we can't treat you. And not to mention, if the virus is 10 or more people, can't be there, it's not safe for the medical staff to be in the hospital. So I thought this was really interesting. If you send the doctors out to the patient's house, there's only, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. So it actually makes quite a lot of sense to do home calls now. So what do you think? Have you ever had a doctor house call, or do you think this is a good time for a resurgence in health doctor calls to go back out in the community? Leave your comments below. I'd like to hear about them. Alright, so this article took place in Taiwan. A couple who sold 2 children gets 5 years jail term. A husband and wife in Yuen County Wednesday were sentenced to 5 years in prison by the local district court selling 2 of their children. The verdict can still be appealed. Although the couple, both in their 30s, claimed that they sold their children because they were poor, they were found guilty and handed a 3-year prison sentence for one child and a 4-year sentence for the other, the court verdict said. However, they are taking the economic difficulties into consideration. The court ruled that the couple should serve only 5 years in prison. The money they made from selling their children would be confiscated, it said. A man identified as Ku Cha Chong, who brokered the sale of the 2 children to a man surnamed Lee, received a 2-year jail sentence, suspected for 4 years. He was also ordered to pay 200,000 Taiwanese currency. The charge against Lee was dropped as he has since passed away. The couple had led a hard life, with the husband doing errands to supply the family prestige in Juong Shrine. They had 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys, and were listed as a low-income family in 2015. They had a 5th child, a boy, in 2016, who helped sell for 500,000 Taiwanese currency, with the process being legally ratified as an adoption. After Lee expressed by and interested by a second child. Koo approached the couple and asked them to have another baby, paying $800,000. Lee agreed, and he paid the wife $20 a month while she was pregnant. $20,000 a month while she was pregnant. She gave birth to a girl who Lee was adopted. Although the couple can appeal the sentence, the wife has said that she plans to seek to return to the children. The two adoptives will remain in custody with the wife. Now, I don't know. How does a mother sell her child? And I know you're poor, but there's welfare out there. And, this is one thing that irks me. I traveled to Philippines and other places, and all of these people are trying to tell me to buy their daughters or buy a wife and buy this and buy that. And I also know many people who have done that. But most of them have good rapport, at least for the brides. I don't know about the children's. But they also have seen some drastic negative consequences too. But how do you feel about that money brokering? Again, the bug is going around, but world events still go on. And I just try to expose everything and give a little bit of experience on my background. And so leave your comments below. I'll be interested to hear from them. A little bit of backstory before I actually read this article. Last night I was watching the news about this company 3M who was selling masks to foreign countries even though they were contracted with the U.S. government. I've also seen France, they'll say, hey, we need those masks, we're taking them. So Britain, you can't have them. Also, there was some person, China girl in America that made the news that I guess she went around with Home Depots and she bought all these masks and then she bragged about, I have them all and you can't have them and they're for China, whatever. So when I read this article, I actually thought it was pretty good to show that, hey, things are going on. So let's read this article. This is about Taiwan and the Philippines, actually, because they actually gave and are giving masks. 2 Taiwanese groups in the Philippines have donated urgently needed masks to the local healthcare efforts in a bid to help the bug. The Taiwanese Conglomerate Association on Wednesday gave more than 5,000 masks to the Philippine Department of Health Association supervisor. The association has pledged to donate 10,000 masks to the Philippines, and adding that because of the supply issue, that the donations will be divided into 2 batches. The mask would help the Philippines battle the virus or bug, as well as promote the goodwill between the Taiwanese and the Filipino. Now, I also want to say, in general, the Taiwanese have always been good. Most of you may or may not know, but about last decade, that BP oil spill in America, it was American people were like, we help all these countries in the world, but who helps us? There was a huge ship that Taiwan had that it wasn't even an oil tanker or whatever, but they refortified the ship to go toward America and scoop up all the oil. They said it became the biggest grabber oil ship in the world because of that, and they helped us out. So I want to bring out that this is, again, goodwill of country or corporations or companies doing things to help people. So I do encourage you to try to make a phone call to your friends who are in isolation. Do something helpful and do goodwill today. And tell me, what do you think about it? Do you think... Moving on to our next story. The U.S. to tighten China exports, or at least attempting to. Now, this is the article. The U.S. President Donald Trump administration is tightening rules to prevent China from obtaining advanced U.S. technology for commercial purposes and then diverting it to military uses. Now, we already know how there's a bit about going on, but there's one little paragraph in this article that I thought was really interesting. Since the Chinese have said to us, anything you give to us for a commercial purpose is going to be given to the military, what point is there in maintaining a distinction in our export control regulations, said former White House official. So basically, everything that you make the manufacturer, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's a Nintendo Switch, whatever. They can use any of that technology to make a weapon or to do something to create biological or whatever. So just keep that in mind when, yeah, we have cheap labor or whatever, but we'll use your info for our own uses later. So what do you think about that? Then leave your comment below. Do you actually still support buying everything or whatnot? Okay, our next article takes us to actually Malaysia for our first time. So this story is kind of interesting. Women in Selangor are arrested after calling police idiots at a roadblock. So in Jaya, a motorist was arrested after she shouted at police officers manning a roadblock here. The woman was one of hundreds of motorists who were caught by surprise after the police set up a new roadblock along the road to enforce the movement control. It was set up as many people were still driving out from their home to buy necessities, which is true. But in her case, what she didn't go to the closest store. She wanted to go to the mega center, like a Walmart or a Lotte Mart instead of the local store. So they told her she could not do that, and so she called them names. She had her tantrum. She called them names, and therefore they arrested her. Now, I always think this is funny because, when I was a kid, if I got in a fight, usually if I call somebody a name, or if somebody called me a name, then I would hit them back. I would get in a fight, then I would get in trouble, okay? But the name caller didn't get in trouble. To me, it is funny because it's like my mom would always say something like that. She goes, you know what? Calling names didn't. The person that called you names didn't get you the black eye that you have now. But it's weird how the rules have reversed because of the internet 10, 20 years later. Now name calling has more power and it's hindered the physical violence, which is good, but just shows the power. So how about yourself? What do you think? I mean, I also saw the people in America were telling, hey, go spit on police officers, spread the virus. Let's challenge the authority. Why? Why challenge? This is your time to remain calm and peaceful and show pride in your country and be a good citizen. Anyway, so let me know below. What did you do if somebody insulted you? Did you fight them back? Walk away? File for support? Let me know. Okay, moving on to Japan. Sony sets up a 100 million fund for the virus-hit medical, education, and entertainment sectors. Again, this is companies doing good. So Sony Corp said Thursday that it'll set up 100 million fund to help the medical, education, and entertainment sectors in and outside Japan fight the global spread of the news coronavirus. The fund is mainly for the medical workers fighting the virus and children and educators working online to school closures, as well as the artists and creators hit by the cancellation or postponement of events or suspension of films productions. The donation is one of the largest the electronics and entertainment giant has made, surpassing the 7.2 million yen, 67 million, offered in the aftermath of the 2011 earthquake tsunami. Yeah, I actually was there when that tsunami happened. I was in South Korea in my high school and such. We all donated blood, and a lot of our doctors flew over, and we helped clean up for a while. So I was there for that. So I brought this article up because, again, it's corporations doing good. So the world is not doom and gloom, and the countries are using the resources to promote unity and pride. So let me know. Again, what companies or how is your community showing pride and happiness and not becoming stressed out over all this? Leave your comments below. All right. Perhaps the biggest article I read today that grabbed my attention was this one in Malaysia. Giving birth alone will be the new reality for expecting mothers. Keep in mind that hospitals are full of germs, so people are home. So Having to go through labor and giving birth all alone without your husband by your side during the moment control over MCO will be a whole new experience for a woman caught in such a predicament. Due to the new hospital restrictions, expecting mothers will have to go through a higher level of stress and anxiety as they will now have to manage everything single-handedly as no spouse or companions are allowed in the delivery room or ward to support them as they face that is supposed to be the most significant and happiest day of their lives. So I actually thought about this. In America, we have this thing called reality TV show. And so a lot of times they're saying these women are going to have the babies at home. And I don't know, Americans are sometimes will lick toilets bowls for attention. And I'm like, well, this might just be the new reality TV show. Okay, giving birth at home or on YouTube. I'm like, oh gosh, this just went through my head. So what do you think? Would you like to see people, not necessarily on YouTube, but I don't know, like web girls or whatever they call them these days? Would you like to see them give birth on the computer or TV? Let me know. Leave your comments below. Last article of the day. We have this one about working from home with our spouses has made me and my colleagues realize we're married strangers. Being confined to an HDB 24/7 with your spouse can really bring out the best or worst in you. In China, there is a spike in divorce cases in the bigger cities since the bug outbreak. Even Malaysia has advised women to wear makeup and dress pretty, as I've shared in a different article earlier this week, to maintain positive family relationships while working from home in a move which has been criticized by others. Or on a less serious note, wives are now beginning to discover a different side to their husbands. Now that they're spending more time indoors together, with everything under security from work habits right up to the things they say over conference calls. It is as if they're married to strangers, and the realizations are hilarious. Even celebrity couple Sophie Turner thanks singing songwriter and Joe Jones is a psychopath during her self-quarantine. We found out some quirks ourselves, too, while working from home with our spouses from the past 1 week. And it's like opening a Pandora's box. I'm not going to read the whole article, but like, for example, the thing went on, said, well, my wife uses a British accent when she's talking to clients, or my husband addresses colleagues differently, or I don't understand what he's saying, so it confuses me. Or the husband's like, my wife actually is wearing what she would to bed, but she's wearing that for work, and then the people are just clueless and they don't care, but he thinks it's strange. So my question for you is, since you are spending more time at home, how are you dealing with your family? Are you finding new things out or not? So leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and have a great day. And stay tuned tomorrow for the news. I want to thank you for spending time with Loyal Real News today. Thank you for spending time with me today. Feel free to like, subscribe, or drop a comment below. Or if you are on the go, listen to my podcast with the link provided in the description. I will see you tomorrow to share new world news.